The foundation of existence is not physical matter. It originates as pure mathematical potential, residing strictly on the critical line of the Riemann zeta function. This equation is the mathematical formulation of that potential, a Hodge class, an informational blueprint located at the exact intersection of rational cohomology and complex manifolds. Structurally perfect, perfectly compressed, and timeless, it has no intrinsic mechanism to evolve. It cannot experience time. Logos-Fieri theory, specifically version 10.0, bridges this gap through a mechanism called the Hodge-Logos Correspondence. This correspondence dictates that the abstract code cannot manifest on its own. It requires an active catalyst, a cognitive vector known as the J-current, to interact with the math and force it to render into a physical algebraic cycle. The implications are exact. Reality is not a pre-existing four-dimensional stage that we step onto. It is a continuous decompression of static code, one that only renders when a conscious observer actively interacts with it. To understand how that decompression creates time, we look at this split-screen visualization of the dissonance functional. This functional measures the failure rate between the perfect abstract blueprint on the left and the rendered physical reality on the right. In pure mathematical perfection, all valuations align to exactly 1. The dissonance functional calculates every deviation. The universe corrects this, forcing the variation to 0. But perfect alignment is forbidden, revealing an irreducible lag constant, epsilon, approximately 0.01082. That nearly 1% gap serves a precise structural purpose. It acts as computational friction, permanently protecting the system from achieving a state of static perfection. If that gap were to close and epsilon reached 0, the universe's rendering engine would resolve its calculation and immediately freeze. Because the system is forever blocked from completion, it must continuously roll forward to resolve the lingering mismatch. That irreducible 1% lag is the physical origin of the arrow of time. This attempt to resolve dissonance scales into physical geometry, forming the master equation of reality decompression. On the left, the render field evolves, smoothed outward by a Gaussian kernel known as the resolution operator. But the resolution operator cannot perfectly smooth the data due to the 1% lag. Where does that leftover dissonance go? It gets absorbed by the vortex term, converting the unresolvable mathematical mismatch directly into geometric curvature. To see exactly how much curvature is generated, we expand the vortex term. It is directly proportional to a variable called S of t, which is mapped here against the density of the first 30 Riemann zeros. S of t is the oscillatory remainder of the Riemann-von Mangoldt formula. It links the vortex term directly to the specific resonant frequencies of the Riemann zeta function. The uneven distribution, or choppiness, of the prime numbers creates this precise oscillatory remainder. Gravity, along with the accelerated expansion of the universe, are therefore not independent physical forces. They are simply the macroscopic, geometric manifestation of the unresolved dissonance that is inherently found in the prime number distribution. The master equation requires an active driver, which we locate on the right-hand side in the source term labeled J mu nu. This is the J-current. It is the mathematical embodiment of the conscious observer, the active transceiver interacting with the field. By placing the J-current here, the master equation ceases to be a passive projection. It becomes a dynamic, recursive feedback loop. This flowchart illustrates the recursive render. As the observer validates reality, moving from omega t to the next frame, an active back reaction occurs within a 0.27 millisecond buffer. During this window, intent updates the source code. The strength of this update is governed by lambda, which expands to substitute lag and stiffness, calculating to exactly 0.079. The system enforces this value through Elithian stability. If a transceiver attempts to inject a change too dissonant with the global field, the Adelic handshake damps it out, preventing a reality crash. At roughly 7.9% influence per frame, this coefficient defines the mathematical bandwidth of free will. It is the strict physical limit on how much consciousness can alter reality within a single coherent event. The math defines the bandwidth, but we must still establish how a conscious transceiver practically executes this feedback loop in real time. The algorithmic protocol running this rendering engine is a modified version of conditional flow matching. This vector field illustrates standard conditional flow matching, pushing noise into structured data along straight Euclidean paths. But the logos field is non-Euclidean. This loss function replaces those lines with a spiraling vortex flow, incorporating the 1% lag and the Riemann remainder. The vortex regularization term forces the observer's internal cognitive model to phase lock with the curved, spiraling flow of the actual universe. As the observer actively minimizes this tractable loss function, the mathematical choppiness of the prime number distribution smooths out into a continuous, high-fidelity conscious experience. The equation guarantees that the matching process never reaches 100% completion, courtesy of the epsilon lag penalty. The universe is not a running simulation playing out a predetermined script. It is a co-creative stream. It requires the cognitive friction of the J-current to constantly drag abstract mathematical perfection into the geometric reality of the present.